ledger, turn four as a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Cast to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails, girl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, steal and pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trash, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trash, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Smoke trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, steal and pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Engines scream, asphalt burns, the grip's a gamble. Tires squeal, hearts race, this leads to scandal. Full throttle, no brakes, chasing that checkered. Drafted lines tighter than a bank teller's ledger. Turn four as a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Cast to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, steal and pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Smoke trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, steal and pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening from the beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway for what is going to be another absolutely amazing show, another absolutely amazing race here this evening with the Full Throttle Outlaws as they get ready for race number 2 here on the season as the QH Design 180 gets underway here this evening, man. This is going to be a ton of fun. This is going to be a lot of great racing action here this evening as K-Dub Kevin Winker in the chat says, Vegas baby says, let's go. Gonna be a slick one and only 2 sets of tires. So 2 sets of tires, and that is going to be interesting here. A very slick Las Vegas racetrack. 2 sets of tires back behind pit wall. That could make things a little bit crazy here this evening on how drivers are going to have to try to navigate their way and try to work their way up and through the field. We do have a stage break at lap number 25. So lap 25, we will see a competition caution. We'll see some points being handed out to a few of these drivers, and that will set us up nicely here for the rest of this race. That'll be a 95 lap run to the end where we can see green flag pit stops, everyone trying to figure out what they need to do and how they need to use these tires this evening. Is Travis Creech coming in with that share on the broadcast over there on Facebook as John Bernard Sr. says, let's go Peacemaker, glad to hear you tonight. John, we're glad to hear you up in the chat, baby. As hey, it's Kev. My boy Kev says, sup, peace. Says, won't be there tomorrow night at Daytona. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That's a heartbreaker, Ryan. As Aaron Peacock says, KP3, let's go, baby. As here we go, getting these drivers ready to rumble, ready to battle here this evening, rolling out onto the racetrack and starting in the pole position. In the 23 ride, it is the DraftKings machine of Tristan Kyle. To his outside in that beautiful Fast House 67 is Greg Wood Jr. Starting in position number 3 in the 78, that is Brett's Electric. Number 78, riding the Bass Pro Shops machine, that is Ryan Rose. Roberto Ramirez will start there in 4th with Rusty Modesty in position number 5 out there on the Speedway. He's got K-Dub Kevin Winker in the Muleburger Custom Homes number 42 starting there to his outside. Starting in the inside, our row number 4 in the winning bid, Diecast and Car Brakes QH Designs number 97 is Colton Hardy. To his outside, the 20 ride is Philip Tuscano there in position number 8. Then we see Cole Morton in the 94 and Travis Creech in that 75 ride, rounding out our top 10. John Salino, Joe Yanks, Gregory Wood Sr., Jackson Connell there in position number 14. Jesse Calloway, Keith Prince, Evan Schilling, Skylar Berry there in 18th. Adam Benefil, Dennis Yates, Bruce Bernard, Alex Ricci, Michael Yanks, Jesse Wise, David Traylor Jr., and Clinton Woodby bringing up the rear of the field. Unfortunately, Woodby not out there on the racetrack as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here this evening as Tristan Kyle out in front has this race lead and has that DraftKings 23 ride parked out in front, looking to try to hold down the top spot. But here comes that 78, the 78 working right to his back bumper. Ryan Rose looking to try to make a move, looking to try to take that lead away from here on the opening lap, but he cannot get there as Tristan Kyle leads lap 1 here this evening from Las Vegas Motor Speedway as the QH Design 180 in full swing here this evening, man. This is going to be a lot of fun, but here we go. We do see the 78, another big run down the back straightaway. Shoots down low to the inside of the 23, looking to clear him off of corner number 4. Gets very, very close to doing it, and down the front straightaway. Looks like he may have him cleared, but does not pull the trigger to slide up in front of him, but Ryan Rose does slide up and take the top spot there in leads lap number 2 here this evening. As Mandy says, let's go Skylar Berry, cheering on Skylar here this evening. And my boy Holler says, have a good stream piece. I'll tune in later for the end. I'm at dinner, brother. Enjoy your dinner, and hopefully we'll see you back in here at the end of this race. It's going to be a crazy one. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this race plays out. There's fuel mileage that's going to play a major factor in this race, but I think the tires are going to play an even bigger role. We're going to continue to see drivers having to try to find different ways to either, one, save tire out there on the racetrack, or potentially try to just play it out, play that strategy game, try to save a set for later in this race, maybe have one back behind pit wall. If we see a late race caution flag, could potentially put you into victory lane or into a winning strategy out there. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of tire saving, a lot of fuel saving, and we're going to see everyone just continuing to try to run, you know, very solid, very quick lap times. But as these tires continue to fall off, everyone here in the first, 4 or 5 laps of this race has shown quite a bit of speed, some really good lap times being laid down by some of these drivers, but I think it's going to continue to fall off here. And as you burn those tires up early in this race, it is going to hurt you in the long run, as Ryan Rowe is going to lead another one. Tristan Kyle there in second. Greg Wood Jr. rolls in position number 3 with Philip Toscano up 6 positions in that 20 ride. Already up 6 spots, looking for 7 as he works on the outside of that 67 of Greg Wood. As Mr. Jr. rolls down in that 4th position now, as Philip Toscano up on the high side, just making it work here and maybe burning up those tires early on in this run, as K-Dub Kevin Winker right there in this battle. K-Dub slides up inside the top 5 with a move around the outside here of that number 6, as Rusty Modesty and that Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 ride up and into about the 6th position now, as we do see Travis Creech moving slightly forward here, as the Creech's tire ride now finds himself up and into that 7th position. He's just a little bit back of that battle for the race lead, but could be trying to just lay back here and hope to see what other drivers are able to do. Is now you do see K-Dub get very, very loose there out of corner number 4. Maybe a little contact, maybe a little bit of help here, but he does bounce up off the fence, off the 6th right. Luckily enough, both Kevin Winker and Rusty Modesty able to keep their cars pointed in the right direction and keep on rolling without any major contact or issues. So that's a great break for them, but unfortunately for K-Dub, it slides him back a little farther here in the field. Everything that he had gained, he has given back, and now sits in that 9th position, trying to keep that high rock vodka ride back there at bay, is Cole Morton trying to navigate his way a little closer to the front of the field here in this one, as Eric Hardy, what's good, Eric? Eric coming in, show the love, says old dad is here. Let's go, son. He says number 97, as Colton in that number 97 machine rolls in about that 12th position, as Dimitri Curtis, what's good, Dimitri coming in with that like on the stream. Eric Hardy with that heart reaction. Uncle Bot coming in as well with that thumbs up here on the stream as well. We appreciate that, fellas, coming in, showing the love, as there is Colton Hardy back in that QH Decides the winning bid 97 machine there in that 12th position, holding strong out there on the speedway. And a lot of these drivers now that we're rolling down and through corner number 3 and 4 back down across the line, it is a new race leader, as we did see Ryan Rose fall back to about that 4th position, as Philip Toscano jumps out in front, has this race lead. So the 20 machine from 10th now all the way up and into the top spot. He's gained 9 positions out there on the racetrack, has that 20 ride, the Mobile 1 machine in the top spot here. But early on, has he been working too hard? Has he been using and abusing those tires, where potentially drivers a little deeper in the field taking care of their equipment, taking care of their cars, maybe not pushing the subject, pushing them right now to their extreme limits, and just trying to save these tires for later in the run. As we look back at drivers like Colton Hardy, maybe even Adam Benefield, you look at Joe Yakes, guys that really haven't moved too far forward, or just trying to save a little bit more. You look back at Jackson Connell there in 19th. He's fallen back 3 positions since the start of this race. Hasn't really moved forward for a fast number 39 ride. We expect him to be fast here again this evening. Evan Schilling in the same boat back there in 20. If you look back at John Salino back in 22nd, he started up in about the 13th position, has fallen back 9 spots on the racetrack. Actually, he started, 13th, and he's back now 9 spots on the racetrack. You look even farther back at drivers like David Trailer. Trailer was supposed to start out towards the front of the field, elected to go to the back of the pack. Clinton would be here. Clinton unfortunately missed the start of this race, had to start from pit road here this evening, and Clinton rolls back in that 25th position. Keith Prince in the JJM ride, the Songs for Sound Machine, and the Justin Johnson Racing ride. They're in position number 26 on the speedways. It's the Johnny Johnson Racing, Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 3 machine. Keith Prince there back in 26, but he's fallen back quite a bit early in this race as well, and he hasn't ran a lap quicker than a 32-second lap time. So a lot of these drivers, when we look back here at Keith Prince, at Clinton Woodby, David Trailer, all 3 of these drivers have yet to run a lap inside the 31-second bracket, which is virtually a second slower than most of our race leaders' quick time here this evening. So they have been very, very easy on their tires, on their equipment, trying to keep themselves out of trouble. As you do see that beautiful 17 ride out there on the racetrack, the TRD Tundra, that is that beautiful 17 machine of Bruce Bernard. Bruce looking to try to work his way up towards the front of the field. Normally we see Bruce in some of these Florida Gator rides, especially in the Truck Series, but here in the Xfinity Series, in that TRD, performance and I don't even know what it is, growth program for that 17 ride and that paint scheme, and he's just continuing to look to save some tires, work on his car, hope to find some extra speed here later in the run as other drivers start to struggle, start to fall farther and farther back and burning up their equipment, and especially now with 16 laps completed, and virtually we're running about, I'm going to say, 0.8 of a second slower than what we were at the start of this race. So running virtually 0.8, even 3/4 of a second slower as this tire continues to fall apart, continues to fall off more and more and more, and that really opens up the door. Obviously 120 laps, you have 2 sets of tires back behind pit wall. What you really want to do is try to break it up into maybe some stages here. Try to make it to lap 25, maybe get fuel, maybe don't get tires, trying to extend that and try to work yourself to around, a little later in this race to, maybe lap 45-ish, come down pit road, maybe lap 50, come down pit side, see if you can use those tires to your advantage, come back down pit road with, 30, 35 laps left in this race, and go to work and try to put yourself into the winning situation. As, what's good? Dennis Thomas coming in with the like on the stream. How are you, Thomas? Thomas coming in, showing the love. Here in this one, as Sean Arita says, go Winker, hashtag Winker Nation. Dane Calloway says, go Jesse Calloway, cheering on Jesse here this evening, as John Bernard Sr. says number 3, saving those tires. Yeah, some of them are definitely saving them tires out there on the speedway. And yeah, John, the 17 car definitely is looking good tonight. That is for certain. But one car looking pretty good here, pretty strong early in this race. Mostly qualified in that pole position, holding strong here in the top spot. It's Tristan Kyle out in front, continuing to lead this race. He led lap number 1, kind of fell back a little bit farther for a few laps there, and then slowly but surely, as other drivers started to struggle, he's taken advantage of it and moved on forward. As Greg Wood Jr., same boat right there in second. We did see Ryan Rose jump up and lead some laps, but he's still holding strong here in position number 3. Rusty Modesty there in 4th as that Sinclair Dyno Care ride rolls in that 4th position. We do see Travis Creech right there behind him. Creech rounding out our top 5 as we see our first caution flag of the day, and it's not for our stage break. Lap 20 laps into this race, we see the caution flag fly as it looks like Gregory Wood Sr., the Mac Tools number 9 ride here of Adam Benefield, going to potentially run into some issues. So 13 right up on the high side, 9 ride down low, and it just comes out at core number 2. Oh, man, heavy hit for both of these drivers, man. That is a big hit, and for both cats, that's going to put them down pit side for an extended period of time. Let's take another look at it. 13 up on the high side. The 9 ride definitely knows he's there, as he's the one trying to chase him down. 13's up against the fence. 9 rides kind of coming up towards the wall. 13 kind of comes off the fence a little bit too far, potentially, like he's got room to do it. And unfortunately, as he's kind of coming down, the 9 rides coming up, they make contact, they run out of room, and unfortunately it just drives both drivers right down the racetrack. Hard contact into that inside fence. That would definitely hurt. There with that contact. That one hurt a lot. As here we go, we do see everyone head down pit road. Pretty much everybody heads down pit side here, including our race leader, Tristan Kyle. And by the looks of it, not a lot of drivers getting jacked up, getting tires or anything else. They're trying to save them for later in the run. As they come down pit road, they get some fuel, they get ready to rumble here, as we did see Joe Yakes in that Indy ride, stay out on the Speedway. Dennis Yakes also staying out there in that Milwaukee Tools number 14. And Michael Yakes as well in the 93 ride, also staying out on the racetrack. So the Yakes taking some strategy here in this first caution flag of the day. So Joe Yakes, Dennis Yakes, Michael Yakes, all at the front of the field here, as it's a whole lot of Yakes, and that's a little bit of a yikes for the broadcasters. I gotta try to keep up with which Yakes is which Yakes here this evening, as Hayes Kev says, love me some Las Vegas, hate them Xfinities, laughing out loud. He says, yeah, the Xfinity cars, they're hit or miss. They're hit or miss. I feel like they feel pretty decent. Like, I feel like they got good grip level. They can race really nicely compared to like the next gen or like the new gen of the Cup Series cars. Like, you don't really get hung up too much in draft. You can kind of draft nicely to somebody. You can make passes, which is a little bit nicer than what the new Cup cars are here in iRacing. So I think it really opens it up and it makes things a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun here for all of us to enjoy. As here we go, we will get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. Dennis Yanks needs to move to the outside lane. There he goes, finally jumping up to that outside groove as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing, as Mrs. Calloway says, get ready to rumble. Calloway, get ready to rumble indeed, as we did see a few more drivers snake down pit road there just before we went back to green flag racing. See Keith Prince, John Salino, Evan Schilling, Kevin Winker, Bruce Bernard. Looked like Gregory Wood Sr. did go a lap down there during that caution. And for Adam Benefield going a couple laps down early in this race. So we'll get them stacked up, we'll get them racked up, and we're going to get ready to go back to battle. We're going to get ready to go back to duking it out here this evening. Is the 87 of Joe Yakes getting ready for this restart. So everyone's on now colder tires, as tires have cooled down a little bit. Will that help them? Will that hurt them? Is this hot, slick racetrack here at Las Vegas going to make for some intense racing action all night long? And here we go, back to green flag racing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, as the 87 gets a great launch and a great restart. Jumping out in front, trying to open up a couple car length lead here between himself and the rest of the Yakes, as everyone back there behind him, 2-3 wide here, down through 1 and 2. Everyone trying to work their way through the traffic, trying to keep themselves out of trouble and trying to navigate their way up to the front of the field. You see Ryan Rose trying to work his way back inside the top 5 as he rolls around that 93 ride of Michael Yakes, but it's Joe Yakes out in front, going to lead another lap, but quickly Greg Wood Jr. onto his back bumper. Greg right there in position number 2, hoping that he can take a good pit stop down there where he was able to get out in front of Tristan Kyle. Maybe that can give Greg the race lead and potentially put himself out in front, get that air, get that extra little bit of a drive and better handling car to where maybe he can hold off the rest of this field. It's nice and easy down and out of corner number 4, down across the line. We will see lap 25 get completed here this evening. So lap 25 was supposed to be our stage break. I'm not sure if we are going to get a stage break there with the yellow flag coming out on lap lap number 20. I do believe they are going to use that as our stage break here this evening. But look back there throughout the field. These guys are still just absolutely duking it out. You look at Cole Morton, you look at Travis Creech, Rusty Modesty. All these drivers, man, are running inches off each other. Continue to go door to door. As look out, the 94 ride about to lose it. Oh, baby, how did he save that car? Oh, man. He was looking like a drunk driver out there on the racetrack in that High Rock Vodka ride, because that thing was absolutely wiggling out there on the racetrack. Let's play it back. Let's throw it into reverse, Terry, and take a look at it as this number 94 down and out of corner number 4 gets super duper loose right there. Car kicks out on him, and then he's just trying to save it here. Look at this race car. Look at it. How does he not go down for a ride through the infield or even right there? Saving it, getting it back up the racetrack, but how does it not slide up into that outside fence? A great piece of driving, keeping that Chevy Camaro out of the wall and out of more carnage. Is everyone able to just squeeze by him there, not run him over, and not get tied up in what could have been a big caution flag out there on the speedway? Is out in front. Joe Yanks took advantage of that pit strategy. Obviously now he's got to wait for this to kind of play out. He probably has about, I'm going to say 30 to 40 laps of fuel in these race cars. I'm not 100% sure on what their fuel mileage is going to be here this evening with the less fuel that they can have in a tank, so that could definitely mix things up. But for Yanks, he's one of 3 drivers yet to come down pit road here this evening, including all the other Yanks. When you look back at Michael Yanks and that Miller Genuine Draft, the Dennis Yanks 14 ride there in the Milwaukee machine, rolling there in 7th, and then Joe Yanks out in front. They all stayed out there from that caution flag, did not come down pit side. They took track position over the extra fuel, and now they're going to have to worry, though, about when does their first, fuel window open. When do they have to come down pit road? When do they have to make a pit stop here to try to get fuel and tires onto this 87 ride? And how much time does that give up to him? And how much does that put him into a hole? Especially if he goes a lap or 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. And if he does lose a couple laps and we see a caution flag 5, 10, 15 laps after he comes down pit road, could potentially put him a lap down, multiple laps down, and out of really any opportunity to win this race. So he's going to want to bank on potentially seeing another caution flag here in the near future. Hoping to see a yellow flag maybe around lap number 35, lap 40, maybe lap 45, somewhere in there. All depends on how far he can go with the tank of fuel to put himself into that fuel window to want to make that first pit stop, and obviously that tire window. But here comes Travis Creech. Creech finding some great speed since that pit stop, and here comes that 75 ride now to the point as he's able to work his way up and through the traffic, and Travis Creech out in front. Creech has the race lead, will lead us down through quarter number 3 and out of corner number 4. He will head down across the line and he will complete lap number 32 here this evening. So 32 laps completed. Still a lot of laps left to go as Joe Yanks holds on to second. Jackson Connell there in position number 3. Connell making some great moves. The 39 ride fighting his way up towards the front of the field as Greg Wood Jr. rolls there in that 4th spot. Clinton would be back in 5th with Tristan Kyle there in 6th. Roberto Ramirez in 7th with Philip Toscano back in position number 8. Dennis Yanks there in 9th, and it's Ryan Rose rounding out our top 10. Here on the Speedways, another driver running into some issues right there. That was the 13 ride. Fortunately for Gregory Wood Sr. already, oh baby, there it is. Rusty Modesty gonna go around. Caution flag back here on the racetrack. Caution flag, caution flag. Oh, heartbreaker right there for the Sinclair Dyno Care Menards ride as Rusty Modesty going to go for a couple loop-de-loops here off the front straightaways. It looked like him in the 34 ride here. I do believe that is Ricci potentially going to make some contact right there. There is Ricci going to get up into the Left quarter panel there of that 6 ride. They make contact down into corner number 1. Unfortunately, it just kind of jacks up and knocks that 4 ride loose, and around he goes off the nose of that 34 ride. Unfortunately, pretty solid contact there as they were able to try to get checked up, not wanting to wash their way back up in front of lap traffic or anything else. Let's get another look at it here. So the 34 using the apron here to try to make this move. Now, this is legal. There is no yellow line, so these drivers can move all the way down here. They can virtually run in the grass if they really wanted to. I'd advise not to, but that's when we see him kind of get down low right there. He's already a little sideways right there, trying to hang on to this thing. The thing with running on the apron, even on the front straightaway, is it's a whole lot dirtier. You get a lot of sand build up, you got a lot of debris, and potentially when you run down there, one of the first cars to dip your tires below that white line, you can find a lot of dirty stuff down there, and it looked like that's what helped contribute to the 34 getting loose and going around. Unfortunately, he goes up the track and collects that 6 rider, Rusty Modesty. Modesty really nothing or nowhere he could go. Just an innocent bystander there, gets collected, gets turned around, and unfortunately, both drivers, not super amount of damage or anything else, but we do see everybody taking advantage of this pit stop here, and it looks like almost everybody is getting 4 tires here. So 4 tire pit stops for a lot of these drivers. That's definitely going to mix up this game. That's really going to make things interesting here in this one, as Diane says, "Sir, you keep yawning. Can you make it to the end of the race?" Oh, I can definitely make it to the end of the race. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'll be here till the very end. Listen, I was up at about, I don't even know, 5:30 this morning, getting ready for work. I went and did 12 hours, something like that, in the burning hot sun, doing roofing and eavesdrops and, siding all day today, so just working with hot metal. It was super duper hot, and your boy is feeling it. We were hoping to get done today, and unfortunately we just could not get done. There was just so much that got added on, so much that we still had to do, and unfortunately not enough time in the day to complete it all. So we're going to be back there again tomorrow for another hot day in the sun, but hopefully only for a couple hours tomorrow. But yeah, long day. Long day, no midday nap, no opportunity to sleep in. Your boy is feeling it, chat. Your boy is feeling it. We definitely been slaving hard the last few days, obviously, and then we have broadcasts every night, man. We don't miss out. I was hoping to get a little bit of time to relax by the time I got home, but really, as soon as I got home, I had a fantasy football draft I had to do, so I had to go and do that for the last, hour. I got home right around just after 7 o'clock. I had virtually 45 minutes or so of the draft that I ended up doing, and then it was jumping right in here and doing the broadcast. So yeah, that was fun. That was fun. So your boy's feeling it. No time to watch YouTube, no time to watch a movie or anything else before the broadcast tonight, and that's killing me. That's killing me, chat. As John says, Peacemaker, wide awake, people. This guy's a pro. John, you know it, brother. You know it, mister. We may be yawning, but trust me, we ain't missing an inch of the action out there on the racetrack. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing again, our top 3 did not come down pit road during that caution flag. Everyone else did come down pit side, though. Potentially some drivers, a lot of drivers putting tires on. Other drivers maybe taking the gamble of just getting fuel only or maybe 2 tires and trying to figure out a way or a strategy to try to help them win this race or put themselves into a position that they can get the job done here this evening. As here we go back to green flag racing as we take a look at that Pabst Blue Ribbon number 4 ride of Jesse Calloway. Calloway up inside the top 10. He's looking to battle here towards the front, but out in front it is David Traylor. Traylor has this race lead, able to get a great restart and quickly opens up a pretty sizable gap, but look at the Hornets' nest back behind him. 2, 3 wide here for position 2, 3, 4, and 5 out there on the racetrack. Now they're going to go 4 wide out of corner number 4. That doesn't work, and there goes Creech. Creech is going to go around down through the infield with the 43 of Roberto Ramirez, and unfortunately that will put us right back under the caution flag. So Creech and Travis Creech and Roberto Ramirez get tied together here as Roberto going to get shoved into the middle here. And unfortunately for the 43 ride, just not a whole lot of room or anything that you can do. Let's play it back just a little bit as he's 3 wide here. He's trying to hang on to this car, trying to keep himself out of trouble. And unfortunately, trouble is kind of all around him here. He's trying to figure out a way to work his way up towards the front, kind of get stuck there. Unfortunately, as he rolls the middle, they're just going to get taken 4 wide right here. Look at this big move down to the inside. Let's see if we get another angle of this one. Is this a big move out of the 23 right? New tires on the 23. And obviously, we're going to see our early race leader, our pole sitter, trying to put himself to the front of the field. And Tristan Kyle going to make a big move right here. Shoots down into the open gap here. I don't think he even realized that they were 3 wide right there. Now they're 4 wide, and they stay 4 wide as the 75 has to roll out of it to keep himself out of the fence. The 43 gets loose, trying to back out of it mid-corner to try not to get destroyed out of corner number 4, running 4 wide. And unfortunately, as he does get loose, he comes up into the 75 right. They get tied together. They go for a slide down through the infield, and Ryan Rose, who we saw lead our second lap and a few laps early on this evening, unfortunately, he's going to get tied up in this one as well. So he's just going to roll down and out of corner number 4. Sees the contact, sees more contact. Here goes the 43 and the 75 right down the racetrack and in front of him. Unfortunately, ends up with some very serious damage there. Luckily enough for the 75 right, not a whole lot of contact or damage. He ends up right down pit road. And for Roberto, you see that rear end damage. That is from that number 78 ride, man. That was a big hit there for Ryan Rose. That was a absolutely massive hit. But just take a look at this car and how uncomfortable he is as we go back here and watch him down through 3 and 4. Obviously, just tight racing, and then drivers all around him going 4 wide, getting loose, and then nothing he could do, and then nowhere to go for Ryan Rose, man. That is a heartbreaker for the Brett's Electric ride. We'll see if he can keep that thing rolling out there on the Speedway, or if that one may cost him a lot of time and a lot of trips down pit road and trying to get that thing fixed back up out there on the Speedway. As we'll take a look and see, there he is. It looks like he has gotten that car repaired. The crew has went to work quickly and had that thing quick repaired down pit side here to keep himself in the fight, but now does not have that in his back pocket, as we do see more drivers head down pit road, including our race leader, David Traylor. So Traylor leads a few laps here at the front of the field. Now gonna head down pit road, throw fresh tires on here himself. Joe Yanks, Michael Yanks, Jesse Wines also down pit road as the Shitty Coolers machine down pit side in that beautiful 69. The Shitty Coolers machine, man. That's a beautiful company. Beautiful race car out there on the Speedway. Huge shout there to Shitty Coolers. And man, I'm not going to lie to you, chat. When we found out that Shitty Coolers was a real company last week and we took a look at their products, they have some outstanding products, some outstanding merch and stickers and patches and everything else. And your boy, he applied to become sponsored by them or something with them. And hopefully we can get a little something in the work there with Shitty Coolers. Maybe we get a little product placement or something like that, or maybe some giveaways, or maybe some race sponsorships out of Shitty Coolers. That would be pretty neat, chat. That'd be pretty neat. You guys should definitely hop on Twitter or Instagram and let them know. Tag them in your post and say Shitty Coolers definitely sponsor Peacemaker Gaming. As here we go, back to green flag racing as Jackson Connell out in front sees that race lead. So Connell has the race lead here in that 39 ride, looking very strong again here this evening. He's looking to continue to just keep on racing, keep on battling his way up to the front of the field, but it does look like we're going to go right back to the caution flag here. Everyone's slow it again, so it looks like another caution flag out there on the Speedway as cautions. Reading cautions here again. I'm not sure if this was more of an admin caution or if we will see something happening here. I didn't really see anyone going around or... Oh, there we go. There's some contact. All right, so we see the 14 rider, Dennis Yakes. Yanks and Jesse Calloway tied together here down through 1 and 2. Let's play it back, take a look at it. So Calloway in behind this Milwaukee number 14 machine, and up to the high side goes the 14, and oh man, just play that back again. We want to slow it down here and get another angle at it. See if we can get another look at this one. I'm not sure if he just gets loose or he's trying to drive it down the racetrack nonetheless, as he kind of goes to the high side, then down towards the middle. The 4 ride, that Pabst Blue Ribbon machine of Jesse Calloway, kind of rolling in that lane. All of a sudden, the 14 kind of just comes down ever so slightly across his nose. They get tied together. Looks like Colton Hardy going to get a little contact out of that as well. But as they stay tied together down through corner 1 and 2, you see the 14 completely sideways there off the nose of the 4 ride. And unfortunately, they're just going to kind of stay hooked together. Finally spins the 14 right around. He's pointing the wrong direction, and that's where we see that caution flag come back out. So we'll get another opportunity to stack everyone up, rack everyone up, and get ready to go back to green flag racing, as we do see Greg Wood Jr., Kevin Winker, David Trailer back down pit side, Cole Morton also down pit road. Here comes Calloway, Michael Yakes, Dennis Yakes also down pit side here. So a lot of drivers making some pretty big moves here. And we did see one driver getting another lucky dog. And I do believe for Adam Benefield was a few laps down in that Mac Tools number 9 ride after getting collected an early caution flag there on lap number 20 for the 9 ride. I believe that's going to put him back on the lead lap. So it should be every driver out there on the racetrack right now is on the lead lap. Nobody will be a lap down as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. So 26 drivers here and already about to be 44 laps completed here in this race. So we're just a little over 1/3 of the way through this race, and we're inching closer and closer towards that halfway marker here this evening. As John says, crazy race so far. Definitely a crazy race so far here this evening, as Miss Calloway says, you go boys, you go boy, you go, let's go, as here we go. Gonna get them stacked up. Gonna get them racked up. Gonna get ready to go back to green flag racing. Jackson Connell out in front. Connell has the race lead, has this and number 39 right at the front of the field. And now for this 39 machine of Jackson Connell. I don't know if you guys remember or not, but Connell found his way into victory lane there at Daytona. Some late race moves and some great blocks, some great pushes. And for the 39 ride, he ended up in victory lane. So for the Ignite machine, what does that mean? Can he make it 2 in a row? Can he find victory lane in our first 2 races here of the season? That would be an absolutely outstanding accomplishment if he can keep all these other fast cats back there behind them and back at bay here this evening. And pick up back-to-back wins to start this season would be absolutely wild, as we'll get them all ready to rumble, ready to go back to green flag racing as Philip Toscano there to his outside. Then we see the 23 rider Tristan Kyle, our pole sitter, early race leader there in 4th. Clinton Woodby, who we saw miss the start of this race, had to start from down pit road. The winning bid, Sonic Graphic Designs 92 ride. Clinton Woodby rolls now into that 4th position. And Rusty Modesty, we saw go around, ran into issues there himself. The 6 machine up and inside the top 5 once again with Evan Schilling, Keith Prince, Bruce Bernard, Alex Orici, and Ryan Rose. We just saw the hood get blown off that 78 ride with some contact there a few cautions ago, and he's up inside the top 10. As here we go, back to green flag racing as Jackson Connell has that race lead and looking to bring this Ignite ride back up into victory lane here today, as he is out in front and trying to open up a bit of a gap between himself and now Tristan Kyle, as Kyle gets up into position number 2 out there on the Speedway. He's got Clinton Woodby right there on his back bumper. Can they find the speed? Can they find the runs to try to jump up and beat that 39 ride here this evening? But you do take a look at Mr. Clinton Woodby making the move down low. He's trying to get his way around the 23 and down to the inside through 1 and 2. He will make that pass in the winning bid. Number 92 of Clinton Woodby now jumps up into the 2nd spot out there on the racetrack. Tristan Kyle back in 3rd with Philip Toscano back into position. Number 4 on the Speedway, Evan Schilling. Keith Prince, our top 6. Modesty slides back into 7th. Ryan Rose there in 8th with Alex Ricci there in 9th. And in a little too-wide battle back here for the 10th position as the 67 ride of Greg Wood Jr. is trying to take it away from that original flavor. Bubble Gum, the double bubble, 46 of Skylar Berry, duking it out here with that fast house ride for that 10th position on the Speedway. Roberto Ramirez right behind them with Colton Hardy there in position number 13. Joe Yates, Cole Morton are top 15 with David Traylor, Travis Creech, Kevin Winker, K-Dub back there in 18th. Bruce Bernard there in 19th. Gregory Wood Sr., Michael Yakes, Jesse Calloway, Dennis Yakes, John Salino, Adam Benefill, and the 69, the Shitty Coolers machine of Jesse Wise, bringing up the rear of the field here this evening, back in that 26th position as drivers continue to move forward. Other drivers continue to fall back as we take a look out in front. We now have a new race leader as Clinton Woodby finds himself away to the front of the field. So Woodby now leads this race with Tristan Kyle back there on his back bumper. The 39 of Jackson Connell. Connell slides all the way back into position number 3, trying to hang on to it, trying to battle back here at the front of the field, hoping that he can keep himself out in front of the pack as he's looking to battle back down to the inside of that 23 here of Tristan Kyle. Philip Tuscano right there ready to pounce as here comes Evan Schilling, here comes Ryan Rose, Keith Prince, and the rest of our field trying to hunt these drivers down. It's some absolutely amazing racing action. These guys are putting on an absolutely amazing show for us here this evening. A lot of different back and forths, a lot of different lead changes, passes, and everything else, and this is exactly what we love about Las Vegas here with these Xfinity cars. Even though it's hot, it's slick, these things are a little bit wild out there on the Speedway. One wrong move could end your night in a swift hurry, or could potentially tie up other drivers. As a very momentum-based racetrack, you gotta kind of keep your foot in that throttle, trying to bank that as you send it into the corner, that you still have the grip you had the corner beforehand. As sometimes you see it all the time in real life racing and here, once you kind of get rolling, you get into a rhythm, then all of a sudden one corner can just be completely different than any of the, 80 or 200 turns you did beforehand. You send it into the corner, you expect there to be a grip level, you expect the car to catch and be able to drive and hook your way down and around the Speedway, and unfortunately sometimes you just send it in there. It will not hold on, it just continues to wash up the racetrack. You have to roll out of it a ton to keep yourself out of the fence. By the time you start to build that speed back up down the straightaway, you end up losing 3, 4, 5 positions, and anything you may have gained, you may have just lost in a blink of an eye. So you got to be very, very conscious about when you're making moves, what moves you're making, and how it may affect you if you can't complete that pass or that move that you're hoping for out there on the racetrack. Because you do see that 23 of Tristan Kyle trying to work his way back out in front as he's got that DraftKings Sportsbook and Casino ride hooked up here this evening. Looking very, very strong, rolling nicely out there on the racetrack as each and every one of these competitors, each and every one of these drivers still just trying to find their way towards the front, trying to find their way up and into victory lane, man, as this is definitely going to be a lot of fun to see kind of how this plays out. Tires have already been used. At least one set has been completely used. They're currently on their second set, as in they started with a set. They just put on their first fresh set. They have one set of tires for a lot of these drivers. I'm assuming majority or all of them only have one set of tires left back there behind pit wall. So you really got to hope for some timely caution flags or some opportunities, or just hope that you see all these, green flag laps continue. You don't see any caution flags. You see the entire pit cycle work its way through, and no one really off kilter by too much out there to either give them a huge advantage or to really hurt your chances if you get a caution flag late in this race, especially with there only being one more good set of tires for most of these drivers, man. Could be for a lot of fun. Could be for some craziness here late in this race, as you just never know if somebody's been saving tires. Somebody's got some back there behind pit wall. If they're just kind of holding out here, making sure that no one realizes that they haven't used the set yet. And when you look back deeper in the field, you look at a driver like potentially Kevin Winker. K-Dub could be that driver that is kind of played that hand, played that game here this evening. Maybe not putting tires onto the 42, knowing that potentially if he can save an extra set for late in this race, it could be the difference maker between finding victory lane or just coming home with a solid top 10, top 15 run on the day. So he's trying to make a swing at it, hoping that things work out into his favor and hope that he can take advantage of it and put himself up and into victory lane here this evening as K-Dub rolls back in about that 23rd position. Gregory Wood Sr. there in 24th. Bruce Bernard back in 25th. John Salino there in 26th. Here this evening, you'll see Jesse Wise in that shitty coolers machine. Now not the last car on the racetrack here. He was rolling back in 26th for a little while. Now starting to move a little bit farther forward as this shitty coolers ride rolls there in position 22 on the Speedway. He's got Joe Yakes and Rusty Motti right there in front of him as Modesty unfortunately falling backwards here. Not the way that Modesty wanted his night to go, and unfortunately for the 6th ride continues to slide farther and farther back. And now he could be another driver that maybe potentially didn't want to burn up a set of tires early on in this race, may have held out, may have tried to keep his car just together long enough that he could earn some stage points, or just trying to hang on to the lead lap, hoping for a mid-race caution flag that could really make a huge change in how this race is ran the rest of the evening. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for Modesty, and hey, if he keeps running up there towards that outside fence, it may not be long before Jackson Connell puts him a lap down out there on the speedways. Jackson once again battling his way back to the front of the field. Jackson looking to try to take the top spot back away from Clinton Woodby. Woodby will slide back into second as the 39 of Jackson Connell back out in front as our top 4 have been right there, parked on top of each other for a lot of this race. Jackson Connell, Tristan Kyle, Clinton Woodby, and Philip Toscano there in position number 4 on the racetrack. Now they have a pretty sizable gap between themselves and our 5th place driver. So if you look back here at our 4th place driver, Tristan Kyle, he's got about 1.3 seconds between himself and Ryan Rose, as Rose rolls there in that 5th position as Greg Wood Jr. there in 6th. Great run there for Greg all evening long. This 67 run has looked very, very strong out there on the speedway. Roberto Ramirez there in 7th. Alex Ricci in position number 8. David Trailer back there in 9th as Trailer looking to try to race his way up towards the front of the field here today. We do see Joe Yakes, Cole Morton right there in position number 11. Travis Creech right there behind him in position number 12 with Colton Hardy back in 13th. Jesse Calloway in 14th with Skylar Berry. Evan Schilling, Keith Prince, Adam Benefill, Dennis Yakes, and Kevin Winker. K-Dub rounding out our top 20. Jesse Wines there in 21st with Michael Yakes there in 22nd. Gregory Wood Sr., Rusty Modesty, Bruce Bernard, and John Salino there in position number 26. Bringing up the rear of the field in that Sonic Graphic Designs number 33 ride as he continues to roll there at the back of the pack. Maybe just some strategy out of that 33. We'll see if he can rebound and battle back towards the end of this race. As out in front, though, it is Clinton Woodby. Woodby continues to hold down the fort, continues to hold these drivers back there at bay, even though he's, had a challenge mounted a couple times here. We've seen Tristan Kyle try to get around him. We saw Jackson Connell there trying to make the pass on him and complete it there for quite a little while. We've seen Philip Toscano right there in that fight as well. And now as they continue to battle and continue to slice it up here at the front of the field, it's allowing drivers like the 67 of Greg Wood Jr. to join this battle. Same with Ryan Rose. So our 5th and 6th place competitors starting to reel in these other guys and starting to put on a good show for us here this evening. As you do take a look a little back behind him, Roberto Ramirez. Roberto up into 7th here not too long ago. We saw him going around and getting tied together after 3-4 wide issues there out at corner number 4. And here he is battling his way right back into the mix of things here this evening. Alex Ricci David Trailer Jr., Joe Yakes, our top 10 as, man, some absolutely beautiful looking race cars. A lot of great strategies here by a ton of these drivers trying to set themselves up here for later in this race, or potentially trying to just figure out a way to put themselves up into victory lane. It's nice and easy down across the line. We will complete lap number 66 here this evening. Oh, clickety click off the board here this day, because the 92 ride out front and some great green flag laps, and that's bringing in the question: when do a lot of these drivers gonna have to start worrying about potential green flag pit stops? We did see Gregory Wood Sr. end up down pit road here. So Greg Sr. heads down pit road out there on the racetrack. Not sure if that was a scheduled pit stop or just trying to take a big swing at strategy here, hoping that potentially he could use the better tires, the quicker, better car, to potentially try to race his way up and around a lot of these other drivers and potentially leapfrog, put himself back into the battle here this evening once we see everyone else head down pit road and start making their green flag pit stops here this evening. But for some of these drivers, they were down pit road on lap number 43. So a lot of drivers down pit road there on lap 40, a bunch down on lap 39, a bunch on 35, a bunch on lap 43. So there's a ton of different fuel mileage games that are being played out here by a lot of these drivers. A lot of drivers playing some different strategy here, trying to figure out what is the best route, what is the best way that they can go about trying to battle here towards the front of the field. And for right now, for a bunch of these drivers, it's just all about trying to survive here. Even if you got fresh tires, even if you got a couple sets back there, you're just trying to survive, trying to keep yourself out of carnage, trying to keep your car pointing in the right direction, hold off the drivers from back behind you, knowing that we're going to see green flag pit stops in the next 10-15 laps or so out there on the speedway. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our favorite lap is upon us. Lap 69 here this evening. Lap 69 up and onto the board. Our favorite number out there on the scoreboard here this evening as Clinton Woodby continues to lead this race. Woodby has all these drivers just trying to figure out a way to put themselves into the hunt here at the front, and now you do see that 39 ride of Jackson Connell trying to take that race lead back away from them as they are door to door, and it looks like 39 able to get a good run down the inside of corner number 3. Will the 92 retaliate here out of corner number 4? He stays glued somewhat to his back bumper there. No contact. They able to keep on battling out there on the speedway. But now 70 laps, about to be 71 laps completed here today. So 71 laps done out there on the speedway, and that means we are going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here this evening as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, chat. Sorry about that. We were off to go get a bottle of water real there quick, and looks like we get another caution flag out there on the racetrack. So drivers heading down pit side here, making their pit stop. Let's take a look here. Do we see tires going on? Does not look like tires going on any of these race cars, and it does look like a very quick pit stop there for the 43 of Roberto Ramirez. Ramirez down pit road, great pit stop right there for the 43. That will give him the race lead, but let's take a look back and see what puts us back under the caution flag here as our Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. Didn't get cranked up for very long right there as we take a look at the Milwaukee number 14, just down into corner number 1, just gets loose. Down onto the apron, washes back up the racetrack here, almost into the outside fence, and that gets clobbered right there from that 13 machine of Gregory Wood Sr. Gregory Wood Sr. sends it in there, unfortunately cannot avoid the 14 right, ends up running right into the tail end of him here. Let's take a look at it as sends it into corner number 3. Not expecting this 14 ride to have some issues like that. He sees him down on the apron and washes back up the racetrack, and he's just trying to get down and around him. Unfortunately, could not get down low quick enough. Clobbers that 14 ride. Tons of damage for both of those drivers, and I do believe we're going to see Gregory Wood Sr. down and off the racetrack, and Dennis Yanks also down and potentially out of this race here this evening as well, as we do see a lot of other drivers head back down pit road trying to make sure they get absolutely filled with fuel here. We see Joe Yanks, Keith Prince, Celino, Evan Schilling, Jesse Wise, Bruce Bernard, Michael Yanks, Kevin Winker, all down pit road here in this one. So everyone coming back down pit lane, making sure they get topped up on fuel here, whether or not it's a lap or, you know, even half a lap of fuel. It could be a difference maker here late in this race. And obviously their calculators, their strategies trying to play out here this evening. We'll have to wait and see how they get played out as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here on this restart, man. This is going to be a lot of fun to see who's going to be able to move forward, who's going to be able to put themselves into a position to potentially trying to pick up tonight's checkered flag as the laps continue to get clicked down. We inch closer and closer to about our 2/3 of the way through this race as we'll get them all ready to rumble here once again. Lap 76 will be off the board as we go back to green flag racing, and we'll go back to our Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. So we're going to ride on board here for this restart with Jackson Connell to see what he can see from the cockpit of this 39 ride. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a beautiful crank it up session out there on the Speedway. As out in front, it is Jackson Connell. Connell has the race lead, looking to make it 2 in a row here on the season, but he's got a lot of fierce competition right there behind him as that number 75 of Travis Creech has raced his way back up towards the front here. Creech now rolls there, battling for second with that 20 ride of Philip Toscano, as Toscano trying to keep him back there at bay in the 6th ride of Rusty Modesty. Modesty also back up here to the front of the pack as he rolls now into position number 4 on the racetrack. It's some absolutely amazing racing here this evening. Each and every one of these drivers trying to put themselves up and into victory lane, but it's still really anyone's game, and we can see a lot of different strategy being played out here. Potentially we could see drivers wanting to execute potential green flag pit stops here if they still have an extra set of tires back behind pit wall. Maybe they don't feel comfortable that they're going to make it on fuel, so you might better use the fresh tires to your advantage. Come down pit road, put them on, and just run some really good laps and try to potentially get the advantage out there on the Speedway. Tire fall off has these drivers running about a second slower than what they were early in this run. So it's been about 20 laps since they were down pit side and we went back to green flag racing, and they have fallen off quite a bit here. The tires are definitely becoming worse and worse and worse, and that's going to open up the door for a lot of drivers to start to head down pit road. We do see Jesse Wise come down pit side. We did just see the 94 of Cole Morton also down pit road. We did see Greg Wood Jr. also come down pit road there on lap 91. So about 3 drivers taking the early chance here to make their way down pit side out there on the Speedway. Now we did see Kevin Winker, K-Dub here. K-Dub still on the lead lap here this evening in that number 42 run. He's trying to keep himself on the lead lap out there on the Speedway, but for right now, K-Dub potentially just trying to play this strategy game and maybe trying to save enough fuel to make it to the end of this race. They came down pit road, back down pit lane on lap 75, making sure that this 42 ride was absolutely filled up with fuel. Potentially, he can make it to the end of this race without having to make another green flag pit stop, but he does have to give up a lot of time. Obviously, trying to save fuel right now, probably trying to save fuel throughout the rest of this run to try to make it to the end of this race, and that could really mix things up, as we did see Tristan Kyle down pit side and the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby. So Tristan Kyle, Clinton Woodby also head down pit road, so a couple more drivers making these pit stops here in our lap 94, 95 area here this evening. So it'll be fun to see how this one plays out as Travis Creech has the race lead. Creech leads this race. Jackson Connell there in second. Philip Toscano there in position number 3. Rusty Modesty back there in 4th is our top 4. All right now have a huge advantage between themselves and our 5th place driver, Adam Benefiel. Benefiel, who got tied up in our first caution flag of the day, went 2-3 laps down, had to get a couple yellows to get the lucky dogs to get himself back into the action here, and since then has drove his way up inside the top 5 and sitting strongly right now in that 5th position, but he is about 3.5 to 4 seconds behind that lead pack, and then he's got about 2.5, almost 3 seconds between himself and Alex Ricci out there on the Speedway, and actually behind Alex is an even bigger gap, almost 7.5 seconds, just over 7.5 seconds between Alex Ricci and the 34. Sits in that 6th position all the way back here to our 7th place driver, Keith Prince, David Traylor, John Salino, the 78 of Ryan Rose. They are rounding out our top 10. The 43 of Roberto Ramirez rolls there in 11th with Jesse Calloway. Colton Hardy there in 13th. Skylar Berry in 14th. Evan Schilling, Bruce Bernard, Joe Yakes there in position 17. And then K-Dub, Kevin Winker, rolling there in that 18th position. Now for K-Dub, he's got to be careful here. Does not want to fall too far behind where he ends up becoming a lap traffic or getting put a lap down out there on the Speedway. Still has a corner advantage here, a little less than half the racetrack between himself and our race leaders. But with that being said, now that we've clicked off 100 laps of racing action, the last time by the start finish line, 100 laps down, Look at 20 laps left to go here in this race, and it's getting down to the nitty-gritty. And for the drivers like Creech, Jackson Connell, Philip Tuscano, Rusty Modesty, even Benefill, have they been saving fuel? Have they been saving anything here for late in this race? If there's a caution flag, who's got potentially a set of tires still back there behind pit wall? Can these guys, even though they've been running super hard, can they get to the end without having to make a green flag pit stop here to finish off this race? And being this late in the run, how is it going to affect them? And will they have enough time to even try to hunt down some of the drivers and try to stretch the field out and try to make it without making a green flag pit stop? Here we go. We do see Roberto Ramirez or Ryan Rose make their way down pit side here in this one. So Rose and Ramirez both down pit road. They'll hit their pit stalls. They'll get ready to roll back out there. Now here comes that Sinclair Dyno Care, the Menards number 6 rider, Rusty Modesty. Modesty gives up position number 4 to head down pit road here in this one. So more and more drivers elected to make this pit stop. Now you just don't want to wait too long. If you keep rolling out there, you don't come down pit side until 10 laps, 5 laps left to go. Even if you have an extra set of tires back there behind pit wall, but you need that fuel, you will probably go a lap down. And if you go a lap down, you're out of this race. Even if you get that caution flag, you get a wave around, you're going to lose a ton of track position. You're not going to be able to gain anything back in time to make up for having those set of tires or making the late race pit stops. So if you aren't on the strategy to save enough fuel to get to the end of this race, you need to try to take advantage of a little bit earlier of a pit stop to try to leapfrog some drivers and try to put yourself into a better position for later in the race to be able to hunt guys down and try to put yourself into a better position. So here you go. You do see that Pabst Blue Ribbon number 4 Jesse Callaway. Callaway heads down pit side here in this one. Is right now Jackson Connell, Travis Creech, 1 and 2 on the Speedway. The 20 rider Philip Tuscano right there with them. About 5 seconds back now, you see the 9 ride of Adam Benefill. They're in 4th. Alex Ricci even farther back. He's about 10 seconds behind our race leaders, rolling there in 5th. And here we go. You see the 34 ride up the racetrack, and you do see the 6 ride Rusty Modesty just getting back out there on the Speedway. Now you can really see the difference between what the fresh tires and the old tires can do, as he is going to continue to pull away from our 5th place driver and open up a huge lead already, just down one couple corners here, and you can barely see that 34 ride still in frame out there on the speedways. They're gonna head down the back straightaway. There's the gap. You can kind of see both drivers right there. That's a pretty sizable advantage with the fresh tires compared to the old tires out there on the racetrack. And for the 6th ride, he's hoping that he can use them to his advantage to try to put himself into a good finish here this evening. But if we see everyone else stay out on the racetrack, he currently sits in about that 16th position. But when you look at a driver like Kevin Winker, K-Dub still on the lead lap, still rolling here. He's been quite a bit off the pace here. Ever since we went back to green flag racing, we saw him, Bruce Bernard, a lot of these drivers really backing up the speed, backing up the pace here, trying to get to the end. We saw Colton Hardy there during our crank it up, rolling the throttle there, just putting the clutch in and coasting the car down through corner number, every corner really, and trying to save as much fuel as possible so could potentially Colton Hardy make it to the end of this race on fuel. How much fuel do these guys have? How close is it going to be? And who may be the next set of drivers that has to come down pit road before they run out of fuel? As the 39 ride up the racetrack, but there's the caution flag, and that is a awful break for the drivers that were trying to save fuel. An absolutely amazing break for the drivers that were probably going to have to make green flag pit stops, including Jackson Connell, Travis Creech, Philip Tuscano, Adam Benefill, Alex Ricci, all these drivers that were still on the lead lap, still in the action here this evening. And I do believe Rusty Modesty, he's going to get the lucky dog. I do believe he is the first driver 1 lap down, as Joe Yanks was still on the lead lap. So Modesty, the first driver 1 lap down, will get the lucky dog, will get back on the lead lap, but he does have now older tires than everyone else, and he's not going to have that track position. Same with potentially Michael Yanks, Greg Wood Jr., Tristan Kyle, Clinton Woodby, Roberto Ramirez, Ryan Rose, all these drivers that had made green flag pit stops already, including Morton, Callaway, and Wise. Unfortunately for them, they're going to be able to get a wave around. They're going to be able to get back onto the lead lap, but they are going to give up a a ton of track position, and we do see Alex Ricci staying out here on the Speedway. So Ricci stays out on the racetrack, and this is going to absolutely murder all these other drivers that were hoping to get lucky dogs, that were hoping to get waiver rounds here. It's going to trap all of them a lap down. If this 34 stays on the racetrack, it will not give a waiver round to Greg Wood Jr., Kyle Woodby, Ramsey, Ramirez, Rose, Morton, Callaway, Yates, or Wise. None of those drivers will get waiver rounds, and that will trap them a lap down. For Rusty Modesty, he'll get the lucky dog back on the lead lap. But we did see Jackson Connell make his pit stop, Philip Toscano, all these drivers down pit road making their final pit stops here on the night. And man, this is really going to throw a wrench into the game plans here for a lot of drivers, especially for some of these cats now at the front of the field that may have fresh tires here on the racetrack. How is that going to help them? It's going to help them a ton out there on the Speedway, and it is going to make things very, very exciting here late in this race. Let's take a look and see if we can find where this caution flag came out, and I do believe it's between our second and third place drivers here. All right, so this was a quick one to find. So contact between Creech and Philip, as Philip Toscano in the 75, looks like the 75 just comes down the racetrack right there. I'm not sure what was going on there. Let's take another look at it. So the 20's kind of coming up, but the 20's getting ready to get an angle into corner number 3. 75 coming off the wall. I'm not sure why he's coming down the racetrack, middle of the back straightaway. Unfortunately, comes down into the 20 ride. They make contact. It puts Travis Creech and the 20 ride up and into the outside fence. They both get some pretty solid damage right there. And unfortunately for the 20, he goes around, and that's what brings our caution flag out here this evening for a late race yellow flag. So that'll stack them up. That'll rack them up, and that means we'll have to get ready for a late race restart, ladies and gentlemen. It's Alex Ricci out in front. Connell, Phil Toscano, Adam Benefield, David Trailer, our top 5 out there on the racetrack. John Salino, Keith Prince, Evan Schilling, Joe Yates, Colton Hardy, Bruce Bernard, Kevin Winker. All these drivers need to move up and around some of the lap down traffic here. There's some lap down cars that are kind of in the mix still that need to keep on moving backwards. For Tristan Kyle, for Ryan Rose, Roberto Ramirez, Cole Morton, all these guys, unfortunately, they do not get to keep their position. They are a lap down. They have to go to the back of the pack here, and that will set us up here for this late race restart. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go, as it looks like we are going to get the caution lights back onto the official iRacing pace car, so we'll get one more time around. So Ricci, who did not come down pit road there, honestly feeling that he saved enough fuel and that he's got enough fuel there saved throughout this caution here that he can make it to the end of this race to try to pick up this checkered flag. But if Connell, Philip Toscano, Adam Benefield, Prince, Trailer, Schilling, Salino, Colton Hardy, Joe Yates, Kevin Winker, Bruce Bernard, Skylar Berry, Travis Creech, who's now back in the 14th position, Rusty Modesty there in 15th. Do they have fresh tires? Can they jump up there, make some moves here late in this race? Who's going to have the advantage? Who's going to be able to take advantage of it and try to race their way up to the front of the field? Is Greg Wood Jr. unfortunately still a lap down here. He is in the lucky dog position, so if a caution flag could potentially get back onto lead lap here this evening. But if we don't see another yellow flag, unfortunately for a lot of fast drivers, including our pole sitter back there in that 23 rider, Tristan Kyle, Ryan Rose, who we saw lead laps, Roberto Ramirez, who led laps here this evening. A lot of fast cats back there, unfortunately trapped a lap down right now after getting caught in the middle of that pit cycle and down the lap out there on the racetrack. So here we go. Lights are off the official iRacing pace car. They will make the hard left-hand turn back down pit side, unleashing this field for what could be the final restart of the day. 112 laps will be completed. 8 laps left to go here from Las Vegas. Who can have the best roll of the die, the best hand, and potentially hit the jackpot and park themselves up into victory lane here in Sin City? As you guys came here for a show, well, here you go, as we're back to green flag racing. The 34 with a solid restart, but here comes that 39 quickly working back down to his inside. So the Ignite machine back down low, looking for a big run out of core number 2. He'll slide up in front of that 34 and for Alex Ricci will quickly slide back into second. Philip Toscano and now that 3 Machina. Keith Prince right into the battle. Here comes Prince. Here comes Evan Schilling. Here comes that 54 of David Traylor. Colton Hardy, Kevin Winker. You can start to see some of these drivers that may potentially have those fresh tires in their back pocket and now working their way towards the front of the field here late in this race as Keith Prince looking to take the race lead. A little contact. He washes up to the fence. The 39 right now 3 wide out of corner number 2 and down low it's Evan Schilling. Schilling getting pushed from the 54 of David Traylor to the point here this evening. So Evan Schilling now out in front, but he washes up the racetrack. Will that open up the door here for David Traylor as we do see Ryan Rose down and through the infield here, going down and doing a little landscaping there in Las Vegas as the 78 ride goes for a slide. We do see Travis Creech now heading down pit road as he has a black flag, has to make a pit stop as the 18 of Evan Schilling trying to hold on to the race lead. There's craziness all around him and behind him, but he's just focused on trying to pick up tonight's checkered flag as David Traylor, Colton Hardy, Keith Prince all right there within striking distance. Here comes John Salino in that beautiful Sonic Graphic Designs number 33 and K-Dub Kevin Winker in that Muleburger Custom Homes number 42 now into that 6th position. Can K-Dub find a little bit of extra speed here late in this race, put his name into the ring here for this race win as here comes Joe Yakes. Jackson Connell unfortunately sliding backwards, looks like he's used up those tires, and unfortunately we will see another caution flag. So the yellow flag back out onto the racetrack is down across the line is David Traylor, who has the race lead. We'll have to wait and see where this yellow flag came out. If iRacing will give it to the 54 or give it back to Evan Schilling. But with the yellow flag being displayed, as it looked like Alex Ricci, who we saw not come down pit road and virtually trap a lot of these drivers a lap down out there on the speedway. Obviously, older tires. Just sliding backwards here, and it looks like the 4 ride of Jesse Calloway trying to get around him right here. Ends up getting loose himself as Calloway gets loose, gets up into the 34, and as that happens, it just knocks this 34 right around. And as he goes for a slide, nothing that he can do except for hang on and try to keep himself out of any more carnage here as there's the 4 ride. Gets loose, washes up the racetrack into that left rear quarter panel, sends the 34 ride around. He's going to give him another shot to help him even get farther around here, and then everyone going to try to avoid him here. The 93, everyone trying to get checked up, everyone trying to find their way through it. Unfortunately for the 67, gets in there a little later and unfortunately ends up making contact here with the 78 Ryan Rose here, and Rose unfortunately just going to get punted here, it looks like. Let's take a look at it as Rose right there in that white number 78 Ryan, just right here getting by that 34 ride as the 94 gets into the back end of the 4. You see the 67 get into the 78 Ryan right there, just jacks him up, pushes him down the racetrack. Hard contact again down to the inside fence right there for Ryan Rose, and I do believe that may be game over and night done for the 78 ride. That was a big hit for that Brett's Electric number 78 ride, and a tough break for him here out on the racetrack. Is out in front, holding on to the race lead, it's David Traylor Jr. Evan Schilling will get ready to restart in position number 2. And we see Colton Hardy there in 3rd, Keith Prince back in 4th, John Salino there in 5th. Kevin Winker, K-Dub in position number 6 with Joe Yakes, Jackson Connell, Rusty Modesty, and Philip Toscano rounding out our top 10. Skylar Berry there in 11th with Bruce Bernard back in 12th. Adam Benefiel in 13th, and Alex Ricci rounding out our top 14 out there on the speedway. Roberto Ramirez down pit side in the 43. He gets the lucky dog, the free pass back on the lead lap, and for the 43 ride, he will roll back out on the racetrack, scored in that 15th position. He will have to go to the tail end of the longest line here for the restart, so he'll be virtually at the back of the pack, but he may have an opportunity here to still pick up a few more positions late in this race and try to get a solid, maybe top 10 run out of that 43 ride. Unfortunately for Clinton Woodby, Tristan Kyle, Jesse Calloway, Cole Morton, Greg Wood Jr., Michael Yakes, Jesse Wise, they're all still a lap down, and unfortunately trapped back there a lap down here this evening. Ryan Rose down pit side, Travis Creech done and off of the racing surface. Greg Wood Sr. and Dennis Yakes also down and out of this race here this afternoon, as here we go, getting ready for what is going to be a little bit of NASCAR overtime here this evening and a green-white checkered finish here today for the Full Throttle Racing League here this evening. The Full Throttle Racing League ready to go back to battle, ready to duke it out here in this one as the QH Design 180, man. It's been a thriller. It's been a thriller, and it's been pretty crazy here, and a lot of these drivers have just been trying to hang on and try to keep themselves in contention here all evening. And it's going to come down for what could be one, maybe two, maybe three late race restarts here in green-white checkers here today as the 54 David Traylor going to look for a big jump right here, trying to clear himself of that 18 ride. But can the 97 of Colton Hardy get a big run here himself and try to put that QH Designs winning bid ride up and into victory lane, or trying to join his QH Designs teammate there, the 54 of David Traylor, up and on the podium as Traylor does get the restart that he was looking for. Quickly gets onto the throttle, opens up a bit of a gap down into corner number one as they head down in through quarter 1 and 2. David Traylor still out in front, but look at them back there behind him, all of them trying to work their way through the traffic as everybody trying to race their way up and into victory lane as David Traylor down through corner number 3. Nice and easy out of corner number 4. Does not want to see the caution flag, wants to see this white flag fly right here, and there it is. White flag is out. The next flag will end this race no matter what. The next flag will end this race out there on the speedways. We did see issues with that shitty coolers, number 69 of Wines and Michael Yanks, as they go down through the infield. But out in front, it's David Traylor for the final time here this evening, down into corner number 3. One shot here for Colton Hardy. Can he make the move to steal the win away? They're door to door. The 54 scrubs the fence down across the line. It's Colton Hardy who jumps up and makes the late race pass to pick up the checkered flag here this evening from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you put your money on the 97 ride, it was a big payday here this evening. Vegas is paying all the dividends to all of the fans in the stands, man, after that amazing race. And they all earned that one as now you see the 18 ride ends up getting into the 97 right there. I think he was just trying to congratulate him and ends up getting some good contact into him and spins that 97 around as Colton Hardy gets the job done, picks up the checkered flag here this evening. He'll get ready to celebrate as here comes another one of his teammates out there as the winning bid. Diecast and Car Brakes teammate there in the 92 of Clinton Woodby, congratulating this 97 of Colton Hardy on what was an absolutely amazing win here this evening. And he'll get ready to burn it down here in Sin City as he rolled an absolutely perfect race here this evening, and he finds his way into the jackpot here in Las Vegas. As, man, what a run, what a drive for him, and we'll get ready to pull him in the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews, man. Post-race interviews coming up next here in just a couple more moments, and, man, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. Colton's going to be pumped up about that one. Colton's going to be very happy picking up the checkered flag here this evening. And now, where's Eric? Where's Eric Hardy? Eric's got to be celebrating. There he is. Eric Hardy says, yeah, baby, he says, attaboy, he says, as K-Dub, Kevin Winker, 6th place finish in the chat as well, says, damn good finish for the 42. Would have been good on fuel, though. Ooh, baby, that would have been crazy. It would have been fun to see how that would have played out. Who would have had the fuel? Who would have been able to make it to the end there without needing that additional pit stop late in this race? But still a solid run, solid drive there for the Muehlberger Custom Homes 42 back there in that 6th position as we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here in just a few more moments as Colton Hardy picking up the dub. We'll get him here into the booth here in just a second or two for his post-race interview, man, as that was a lot of fun, man. That was a heck of a show that these guys put on for us. An exciting one there late in the race, making moves, slicing and dicing up and through the field. And finally, we see Colton find his way up and into victory lane here. So we're waiting for him to jump into the waiting room here. There he is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for our race winner, Colton Hardy. Hey, Colton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Colton, man, what a run, what a drive here, man, as you just hit the jackpot, as you get to pull that 97 ride, the QH Designs machine into the QH Designs 180 victory lane here this evening, man. Take us through this race. What's going through your mind right now as you get to celebrate here at Sin City?
Man. I'm still trying to replay everything that happened in turn 4 there. I got one heck of a run on the bottom on David. He kind of washed up the track a little bit, and I was like, you know what, we're just gonna put it to the floor and see what happens. And this happened, and I'm thankful. We had another good turnout tonight, a lot of good racing tonight, and just thankful for another great week of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great racing, some craziness out there. Obviously, some timely caution flags and some untimely caution flags for certain drivers. And it kind of sets you guys up here for a wild run to the end. Obviously, you guys had an extra set of tires. There was a lot of drivers that still had a set for that late race yellow flag. Some drivers didn't. They fell back like a rock. And obviously, we see you, David, Evan, a lot of you guys slicing and dicing your way up and through those guys and working your way to the front here late in the race after that caution flag around lap 109, 108, something like that. That really kind of spiced things up here this evening, as obviously there was drivers trying to save fuel. We rode on board with you for our crank it up around lap 85, lap 88, somewhere around there, and we saw you kind of rolling the clutch, just trying to coast it through the corner. So were you kind of on that same strategy of coasting to the end here, hoping to have enough fuel to potentially put yourself into the same situation of winning the race, but through the fuel mileage instead of tires here this evening?
Yeah, absolutely. If we wouldn't have had that last caution there, I would have been probably a lap short. It was saving aggressive the whole run too, and I just got to a point where I plateaued and couldn't gain any back. So I knew without a caution we were going to be in trouble, and I was going to run it out and coast it as much as it took. But um, the caution felt very fortunate, and then with us saving a set of tires, I know there was a couple of guys there. And honestly, whenever we were talking to David in the server, I honestly thought he was going to come out there with fresh tires and just stomp us, but he kind of got held up a little bit by guys on older tires, and everything just kind of fell the way it fell, and I'm thankful.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot to be thankful for here this evening. But, man, take us back again through that final corner as you're able to get that big run. You see trailer in the QH Designs 54 line chasing down that checkered flag, and you slide right up there, make that move, get the run, and you steal this one away from him here by, I believe it was 2/100ths of a second across the line here this evening in race number 2 of the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League.
Yeah. Going on the back straightaway, I was just telling David, I was like, just keep it straight. Let's just finish this thing. And he kind of rode the middle, and I saw a little bit of a gain going into the corner, and I was like, oh, hold on a minute here. And I just got a monstrous run out of the corner, and David either washed up or got loose and was going to hit the wall. I heard him say, "Oh crap," slide up the track, and next thing I know, we're door to door coming to the line. So I keep saying it every time I somehow get one of these wins, but it's 90% luck and 10% the skill that got me there.
Hey, well, no better place to get lucky than here in Vegas, brothers. Colton, you parked that 97 right up and into victory lane, man. Who would you like to thank? Who would you like to, say thank you to for such a strong run and strong performance here in this race?
Obviously, I want to say thank you to the admin team. They're a lot of help. They help this thing go a lot smoother. Like as we're talking right now, I've got guys looking at incidents and getting a penalty review and everything together. I can't say enough about them guys. David, Joe, Clinton, all of them, both Jesse's. You do an absolute fantastic job every week, no matter what series it is. If you're broadcasting it, you know it's going to be a quality broadcast. I know my dad and my stepmom are always watching, always commenting on the stream. So hello guys, thank you for watching, and we got a win tonight. Um, and my sponsors, the Winning Bid Diecast sells and card breaks. Check him out for any of your diecast needs. He gets old ones, new ones, card breaks. He does driver breaks, new cards, all kinds of stuff. QH Design for all your custom clothing needs, hats, decals, banners, signs, pretty well anything. Shoot me a message and I can get you taken care of.
Beauty, brother. Well, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening as you pick up win number 2 on the season, man. That's got to feel pretty good to kind of get that monkey off your back here early in the season. I kind of get to go out there, run some more races, chase some more victories here throughout the season, man. What does that do for you? Obviously, points-wise, I'm not sure if it's win and you're into the playoffs or if you got just some good bonus points here towards the playoffs here in quite a few months from now.
So this set up to win and end, so that would obviously punch our ticket into the playoffs for later this season. So that's a lot of pressure off for the rest of the season. Now we can. There's a strategy I've been wanting to do, or something crazy I've been wanting to do that may have cost me 10 positions before. Now it's not going to matter so much. So it gives me a lot of leniency, just like in the real world. Whenever driver wins the 500, they've got the whole season to experiment. So it's a nice monkey off the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you get to kind of sit back, relax, enjoy the next, probably 10, 15 races before our playoffs get underway. But you get to take some swings, you get to take advantage of some different strategies. If it works out perfect, you get good finishes, bonus points, or wins. That's always a bonus. If it doesn't work out, no sweat, as you're already locked into the playoffs. You get to battle again this season for a championship here in the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League. Colton, congrats on the win here tonight. We can't wait to see you guys back in action. I do believe next Sunday, or next Friday, or are you guys off on Friday?
We are, I believe we're on Friday. Let me double check the schedule.
Yeah, let me double check that as well.
Yeah, we are on next week.
Yep, Michigan. Yep, okay, perfect. I wasn't sure if you guys were off for the holiday or not for Labor Day, but no biggie at all. I don't celebrate anyways, and I do believe that's more Monday than Friday anyways. So should be fun, should be good. Honestly, Michigan, another fast track, another good track, and another one that you can try to play out some of that fuel strategy or tire strategy to try to put yourself into victory lane.
Exactly. I appreciate everything you do, man.
Absolutely, mister. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and congratulations again on the checkered flag here this evening.
Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Colton Hardy's Hardy. Picks up the checkered flag and pulls that 97 ride up and into victory lane here this evening as we'll get ready to pull in our second place driver, the number 54. It's David Traylor, who comes home in position number 2. Hey, David, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Yeah, I got you, Aaron.
David, man, another strong run, another great race for you here tonight, man. It's always good to see you up on the racetrack and battling with these guys instead of up in the admin booth or making calls as race control, man. As you always put on a heck of a show, and here you were late in this race, slicing and dicing your way up through the field after that timely caution flag, and obviously there, late in the race, door to door, Colton Hardy down low, you up on the high side, looks like you got a little bit tight, pushed up the racetrack, got a piece of the outside fence, which just scrubbed off enough speed for Colton to steal this win away from you here this evening, man. Take us back through it. What's going through your mind right now is get the settle in for a second place run here this evening.
Yeah, obviously, first off, congrats to Colton. I ideally, I would have actually just watched out the windshield instead of watching my mirror for the majority of that last lap. That's actually what got me in trouble. Granted, we wouldn't have been there without that caution. That definitely saved me from probably a 15th place finish. But we played our strategy. We banked on a caution. We got it at just the right time. And yeah, finally got some clean air, got a good restart, and tried to just hit my marks. I wasn't 100% sure what the fastest line was. I don't know if it was the bottom or the middle or the top. So I tried to make my car wide, and in doing so, not worrying about myself. I was worrying about what was in the mirror, and Colton drove it in deep, and when he did, I cranked the wheel a little bit more than I needed, and got me a little loose, and had to chase it up the track. And then as he came up on exit, I wanted to give him space. I don't want to be the guy that doors somebody coming to the line, so a little on the safe side, ended up putting myself on the wall and realized that I had a lot more space than I actually thought I had. So After that, it was a drag race. He had a good exit, and I definitely gave it up right there at the end. But no, like I said, no, nothing to take away from him. He put himself there. He did exactly what he needed to do, and I think he actually ran the fastest lap of the entire race on the last lap. So he was wheeling that thing.
Absolutely. He was wheeling it, and he ends up stealing the race win from you here tonight. But, David, a solid second place run nonetheless here. Obviously, that caution flag saving you from having to make either a late race pit stop or running out of fuel out there on the racetrack. And you're able to back it up with a second place run here this evening, man. Who do you want to thank for such a great run and great drive out there on the racetrack?
Oh yeah, first off, thanks to you for putting the broadcast on. It's I love going back and watching these. Whether I'm doing admin stuff, doing race control or driving, I love going back and seeing it from your perspective. Thanks to the other admins that are doing this league with me. Obviously Colton, Joe Yakes, and Clinton Woodby. This is our second attempt at it, and I think this is I think it's gonna be the good one. If these the rest of the season's like these first two races. Hopefully it doesn't lack any excitement. Thanks to everybody else really on the track. For the most part, it was a pretty clean race, just little contacts here and there. And I'm really thankful that the guys, they show up on their Friday nights and come race with us. And then thanks to QH Design sponsoring the car. Great merchandise company over there. Actually, Colton that owns it. You need any hats, shirts, vinyls, stickers, anything you think of, reach out to Colton and QH. And then thanks to my dad for watching at home and my fiance for letting me do this.
Beauty. Well, David, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, brother. Hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next Friday as you look to try to maybe pick up a dub yourself there at Michigan next Friday night.
That's the goal. Thank you, Aaron.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, David Trailer, as David comes home in position number 2 here this evening. As we'll get ready now to pull in our third place drivers, Evan Schilling. Schilling in that 18 ride coming home here in position number 3 here this evening. Let's get Evan up here into the booth. Hey, Evan, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Evan, man, solid run, solid drive for you here this evening as you're able to squeeze your way up here into a solid third place run. But man, late in this race, you, Colton, David, duking it out here for the race win this evening. Man, take us back through it and take us back through the rest of this race. Obviously, a lot of different strategy playing out, and it plays out almost perfectly here tonight into your favor.
We've been stressed. Our whole team has been stressing this whole week about strategy, and I'm so glad it paid off for most of the team at least. But yeah, right there at the end, me, David, and Colton all fighting. That's a pretty rare sight for me, but it's pretty cool to be duking it out with them, especially when you're on the better strategy out of the whole field.
Yeah, absolutely. The better strategy, timely caution flag there, working into your guys' favor. I know Colton and David said that they were a little shy on fuel, that they weren't going to be able to make it to the end. How are you looking back? They're a little back farther behind them. They're in the fuel. Were you going to be able to make it if we didn't see that yellow, or how is that strategy going to play out for you?
That played right into our hands. I had started clutching through the corners and was actually about a lap and a half good on fuel, and I had better tires than everybody, so we were working our way up through the field. And anyway, so the caution, whether or not the caution came out, was still going to be a benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Either way, you're set up perfectly here for late in this race. And then obviously, tough battling there. Obviously, you're sitting in golden opportunity to try to make a move and try to steal the win away from David Trailer. And then that, last caution flag that we saw there, bringing up the green-white checkered. Obviously, Colton getting a great jump down on the inside lane behind David, was able to jump up and steal that second spot away from you. And then we see he's able to make that move and steal the win away from David here this evening, man. Take us through those closing laps and the excitement and the nerves that you might have been feeling there during that green-white checkered.
Oh, for sure. David and Colton are some of the hardest guys to beat in this league. Like I said, I rarely get an opportunity to fight with them at the end of these races. So to be able to do that, it's just heart pounding. And you just hope that you do everything right. You don't get loose. You don't smack the wall, get tire damage, wheel damage. You just hope that everything goes your way. And tonight it actually did.
Absolutely, it did as you parked that 18 right up here on the podium to round out the top three here this evening at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Evan, who would you like to thank, man, for such a great run and strong performance here this evening?
First of all, I got to thank Colton and David and all the other admins for getting the league back going again. We were sketchy there for a couple of months, but now we're back to true form. I got to thank Johnny and Keith for coming up with a great strategy, and Johnny Johnson Motorsports is finally making a return as a team for this league after a couple of years. So we got a good teammates, good strategy, and it all played out well tonight. So thank you to them.
Absolutely. The JJM ride showing up strong here this evening in Las Vegas. And now we head to Michigan, another racetrack where fuel and tires kind of play a bit of a role there. So you guys may have another opportunity to try to find your way, navigate your way with that strategy up here to another podium finish, maybe even a couple spots better and up in victory lane yourself next Friday.
Yeah, it's not one of my better tracks, but neither was Las Vegas coming in. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Absolutely. Well, we can't wait to see and see how it plays out for you guys. And if you guys can wind up back here on the podium here on the amazing Friday night Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League. As Evan, congrats on that third place finish, brother. We can't wait to see you back out there next week.
All right, thank you. Be looking forward to you watching this race.
Beauty, brother. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Evan Schilling, as Schilling comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Solid run, solid drive here this evening at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, not only for Evan, but for Colton Hardy, our race winner, David Traylor, our second place driver, Joe Yates up into 4th, John Salino there in 5th, Kevin Winker, K-Dub, Modesty, Prince, Skylar Berry, and Jackson Connell, last week's winner, rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Man, these guys put on an absolutely amazing show for us. Each and every one of the drivers that logged into the sim and jumped in here for some great racing action, man, put on an absolutely amazing show for us. Right from the drop of the green flag down to the checkered flag, man, it was a nail-biter. It was full of excitement and door-to-door action out there on the Speedway. We can't thank all these drivers enough for showing up and putting on an absolutely amazing race for everybody to enjoy. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here throughout this evening, and hopefully we'll see you guys back up here in the broadcast booth tomorrow night as we'll be going back to battle. I do believe we're headed to Daytona tomorrow night, so that's going to be a lot of fun, headed back to the Super Speedway for a little Daytona International Speedway racing here with our Premium Stock Car Racing League tomorrow evening, and hopefully we'll see you guys all in the grandstands cheering those drivers on. But listen, can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, showing the love, all the likes, the comments, the shares. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we will see you guys back here tomorrow night. But peace and love, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.
The grips a gamble, tires squeal, hearts race. This leads to scandal. Full throttle, no brakes, chasing that checkered. Drafted lines tighter than a bank teller's ledger. Turn 4 is a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Gas to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails girl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, lessen the lights.